Not boring, Kawhi.
I mean, Jalen calls that Tuesday. Anyway, as you can see, we have grown. It is our delight to bring Zach Lowe into the conversation. We got all the free agency, and the one, the only, Jay Billis is here. He'll be across the river tomorrow night for the NBA draft, and we have a lot to get to as we roll along, as always, from the Seaport District at Pier 17, brought to you by Chase. And here's the menu for this hour. Let's go. It's time to get up with LeBron and the Lakers. Everybody's celebrating the move to get Anthony Davis, but did they make a huge mistake along the way, and can they correct it after the fact? We're on top of it. Plus, the Celtics want to talk, but Kyrie Irving has gone silent. Are Boston's off-season plans over before they even had a chance to get started? And then, of course, there is Zion. His name will be called first tomorrow night. What immediate impact can he have on the Pelicans? Are they a playoff team? We'll talk about that and more. Time to get up, starting right now with the Lakers, who are scrambling to reshape the Anthony Davis trade in order to create $32 million in salary cap space, which would give them the ability to sign a max free agent. In order to do it, they might have to get rid of 3 of the remaining 4 players on their roster. Woj with us earlier this morning on Get Up.
Well, the Lakers have been calling around the league with a couple of those minimum contracts they still have on the books, including Mo Wagner, who was their #1 pick last year, to try to, when July 6th comes, to have more teams involved in this Anthony Davis trade, to be able to turn what right now is that 23 million plus number into around 32 million in cap space on July 6th when the free agent moratorium ends.
All right, so Zach Lowe is here. You know him from the Lowe Post podcast, and obviously I know there's nothing you love more than talking about the Lakers. That is
well, now we got it. Now they've earned it. We got to talk about them now.
So, whatever amount of money they get, what should they be doing with it? What do they need to put around LeBron and AD? People like me will be talking about, oh, they got to get this superstar free agent, that superstar free agent. What should they actually do with that money?
I thought you were just going to say people like you, because they just need human basketball players who can put them. They have no players. But honestly, it's actually an interesting debate. The max star is the sexy thing to go get. But if your roster is 3 max guys, a bunch of minimum guys, and you have no draft picks, it's really hard to tweak your roster. If you took that max slot and made it 3 good players with $10 to $12 million salaries, you have a little more trade flexibility. But this is the Lakers. They're going to go for a star. That's what they do.
What do you think?
I think they already have their superstars. 2 of the top 5 players in the league, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And I have to continue to stress, when we have this conversation, please include Kyle Kuzma. He's shown to be the better prospect of the guys they traded already. Lonzo Ball ended the year in street clothes. Brandon Ingram is coming back from blood clots. Okay, they kept the best guy that they took late in the first round. The other guys went in the lottery. One of the guys Magic said was gonna hang his jersey up in the rafters, and he got moved.
I'm going to continue to beat this drum, and Zach, I actually agree with what you're saying. So what I'm going to say is actually arguing against what I understand to be logic. But I continue to see a path, Jay Will, and I'm looking right at you.
Are you going to
for our mutual friend, Mr. Irving, to wind up in Los Angeles, and here's how. Okay? If KD doesn't want to go with him to Brooklyn for whatever reason, I can't see the Nets just deciding we're going to take all this money, we're going to give it to Kyrie, and that's it. We're going to build around him for the future, which means if that option isn't there, and he's ghosting Boston, which is everything that I'm hearing, he's not even returning the phone calls or the texts of the Celtics, maybe the best option for him will wind up being going back there. And sometimes you don't know what's best for you until it actually falls in your lap and you have nothing better to do.
I just feel like you and I, we fight over this every single day, Greeny. I know you die on this hill every single day. The narrative will never be for Kyrie Irving that he plays and wins a championship in Cleveland, then goes to Boston, gets hurt. This team gets to the Eastern Conference Finals. The next year, they don't have a great year. Then he goes back to LeBron James because that's the only way Kyrie Irving can win. He's never, that's not the way Kyrie Irving's built.
Then he isn't going to win. I mean, at that point, you either would win or you're not going to win.
I don't know about that.
He's going to win in Brooklyn?
He could potentially win one with Kevin Durant if Kevin Durant comes to Brooklyn.
Zach Lowe, help me.
I don't see him going to the Lakers. I mean, who knows with him? But he wasn't happy being the second best player on the team, right? He asked out of Cleveland. Then he wasn't happy being the best player on the team in Boston. Is he going to be happy being the third best player on the team with the Lakers? Like, I just don't see that. It doesn't. The pattern does not suggest he would do that.
That's the real issue, is who's going to go be the third fiddle with the Lakers. And look, people seem to forget that the Lakers were a playoff team before LeBron James got hurt. And they were going to be in the playoffs and contend. They weren't going to contend for the championship, but they were going to contend in the playoffs. And so you put Anthony Davis, like I was asking some people this. If you had the opportunity to take Zion Williamson or Anthony Davis right now, who would you take?
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. It's not even a discussion point. He's one of the very best players in the league. LeBron and Anthony Davis alone give the Lakers a chance, with Golden State being injured, give them a chance to win the West. So whoever they put around him, I just don't see taking all that money and putting it on one player.
And Greeny, I'll say this too. I think it's pivotal that you get the right players around this team. This is still a one-year audition for the Lakers for Anthony Davis. Like, and people don't say this, if LeBron James were to get hurt or re-injure himself, and then AD doesn't get to where they think they can go, and then maybe something happens to LeBron long-term, they don't have the draft picks to say, is this the best location for me to be long-term either?
The question is, what players complement LeBron and Anthony Davis? Not what star can they get. Who complements them and makes that team better?
So I think there are degrees, right? Like, if you can get Kawhi Leonard, which to me seems unlikely, then the whole discussion goes out the window and you get Kawhi Leonard. Then there's a drop-off, and it's Kemba Walker and Kyrie Irving. I think if those are the guys you're discussing, then you need to think seriously about, can we spread this around to 3 Danny Green, J.J. Redick, whoever types that really complement. You run a pick and roll with LeBron and AD and 3 shooters, you're done. There's nothing you can do about that.
Well, I have 2 points for this. One, LeBron can't have every all-NBA performer on the Lakers. At some point, you got to play against some of the top players. Okay? For this media thing that we're going to put every star player that's a free agent on the Lakers, they don't fit. I don't think playing with Kyrie or Kemba works with LeBron at this point of his career, because he's going to have the ball. Those 2 guys ain't about to be spotting up in the corner watching Anthony Davis and LeBron do a pick and roll. And again, I want to say this. They have their third player. His name is Kyle Kuzma. He just is on a rookie deal. They need to have a guy like Danny Green and another guy like Patrick Beverly. That's their starting 5 for me. Go out and win with that.
That said, when LeBron has won big, he's always had a second really good ball handler to take the load off of him, so he can rest a little bit on the floor, someone who can lead the offense when he's on the bench. I don't know who. I think that's a necessity for them to really win big, and I don't know who that player is.
Let me throw a different curveball at you here. There was a time when it felt like every player in the NBA was dying to play with LeBron James, because he is an unselfish superstar. He's a superstar who is willing to distribute the ball. He is more Magic than he is Michael. It feels like that has changed. Maybe that's just in my head, but it feels like that has changed. Has it? It feels to me like a lot of the other stars in the league right now are not dying in the way Dwayne Wade once was and Chris Bosh once was to team up with LeBron James.
Seems that way. I mean, but they just got Anthony Davis, and they might get another one, so that narrative could flip on its head. But certainly in the last 2 years, you've heard a lot of noise of, you know, I'm never the reason as star number 2 that we win, and I'm always the reason that we lose if I'm playing with LeBron. That's the burden of playing with the best guy, though.
And what was the discussion point when LeBron went to L.A.? It was he's going from the East, where he's going to be in the finals every year, to the West, where it's going to be a tough climb just to get out of the Western Conference Finals and get to the finals. It's a totally different deal. So having players go where they know they're going to play in the finals in the East to the West is a little bit of a different dynamic.
And here's the distinction I want to make for you. I don't believe that narrative. He just got Anthony Davis to throw away for public consumption everything he created with the Pelicans to demand a trade during the middle of the season when he wasn't a free agent. That's wanting to go play with LeBron, no doubt. Number 2, the other top-tier free agents already have championships. So they don't need to go run with LeBron James, Kawhi, KD, Clay, Kyrie in order to accomplish that. They've already done it.
Fair.
Maybe some of that narrative with the Lakers has had a little more to do with the Lakers' dysfunction than LeBron anyway. Let's get more into the Celtics, because there was news yesterday with Woj being busy. Al Horford not exercising his $30.1 million option for next season. Sources say Horford and the Celtics do not believe they can agree on a new deal, and that Horford prepared to enter free agency to find a 3 or 4 year contract elsewhere. On the Lowe Post, Zach, you had a great take on all of this. What's gone wrong with the Celtics? And then even further, what should they do now?
I mean, obviously, the last year has been a total disaster for the Celtics. They had all of their eggs in the Anthony Davis basket. Kyrie was supposed to be the thing that convinced Anthony Davis to stay. It all fell apart for reasons that are still kind of unclear. But I would all of that said, the Horford thing to me is not the disaster it's being made out to be. Once all the other dominoes have fallen this way, I actually think this is the appropriate decision for Boston. Just so you know what, 4 years, it doesn't fit our timetable anymore. We can now be a team that has 20 to 25 to $30 million in cap space that gives us a lot of trade optionality. Like, let's just chill and recalibrate rather than sort of make a deal that doesn't make sense.
But how long have they been recalibrating? That's my problem. The Celtics have been the team. They've been like, oh, next year they're going to be the team to beat for so long now, and that year never came.
That's a different question, and the question of what is the missed opportunity that they're going to regret to really beef this team up to win the championship this past season. And I think if you look back at all the deals they didn't make, Kawhi is going to be the one they look back on and say, that was maybe the time we should have put more chips on the table. But all that, leading to the Horford stuff, all that's under the bridge now. I'm just talking about the Horford situation. To me, is not the disaster it's being made out to be.
This is all about Kyrie. I mean, Kyrie went there to be a leader and to be the lead dog and take them to a championship. And there's a difference between being in charge and being a leader. Now, he was in charge with the ball, but he wasn't a leader for Boston. And that's what's blown this up and made this look this way. Al Horford leaving makes perfect sense. I mean, he's aging. You can go out into the open market and get way more money than if you stay there. So why not go into the open market? He can always go. He's not going to go back, but he can always go back. He's not going to.
And wait, Granny, we've done a lot of TV together. Wasn't it you this year that said multiple times this team is better without Kyrie Irving?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so they're in a position to go what you said. So if you have Gordon Hayward, Jaylen Brown, let's not forget how Jason Tatum balled out last year, even though this year was sort of a drop off. Maybe you're able to get a Terry Rozier. Maybe you're not winning a championship, but you're still right there competing with those assets.
No, I'm not accepting maybe you're not winning a championship. Winning the championship was supposed to be the next step. The logical next step last year was not Toronto is the team that is going to succeed LeBron James.